I saw myself getting out of my body. I could practically feel myself being pulled out of the body.
Yo.
Like at the level of a ceiling. And I could see my wife sleeping there. I could see myself sleeping there. So I'm in a different world altogether. And he said, I want to show you something. I had died that day. I could hear angels singing.
Wow.
I would conclude they are angels because of what I saw. The synergy in the singing, when they sing hallelujah, it is so harmonized. Second experience, I leave my body again. But this time we are in a space where it's full of like people. And there's also angels. There's like physical human beings. There's also angels there. And then here comes this lion. Very big lion. And now this lion was like chasing everyone.
Hello there, Cent fam. Welcome to yet another episode of I've Been Through the Most podcast right here on Centtwinz TV. Yes, I'm Innocent and I am Millicent, your favorite twins. Together we are the Centtwinz.
Yes.
And we are so delighted, Millicent, to finally be on 300k subscribers. And Millicent the other day said to me, Cece, we are officially now going for 500k subscribers,
Yes.
half a million. That is our next target, and we are absolutely confident that we can do it with your love and your support. And want to welcome everyone who's new to the family. Welcome to the best family here on YouTube. All the content here is exclusively and proudly produced for you. So please do go ahead in the comment section and let us know what you think of this episode. And if you want to be interviewed on the podcast, all you have to do is to send us an email. It is centtwinz@gmail.com. While you edit, go on your social media platforms, on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, look for Centtwinz Production, even TikTok, and go and follow all our promos and all the interesting content that we have placed on those socials. Yeah, so it doesn't matter where you're watching from. You know what? We appreciate you so much. And we love it in the comment section where you tell us where you are watching from, as well as taking part in the conversation. Let us know what you think about the conversation. Let us know how, you are feeling.
Yeah.
We just love interaction because we believe that there are people behind the camera just like us. And we love it when people share real life stories, real life testimonies, because we are here for life transformation and really just celebrating how people come out from going through the most. Today we've got Mr. Collins, who's here to share his story. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And welcome. Just briefly, can you just introduce yourself to our global and international audience?
Okay, thank you for giving me a chance to be here. It's a wonderful experience, and then I'm here also to share with you some of my experiences. Okay, my name is Collins. The surname is Phasha. Kyautagos Gandalf. I come from Winterveld. But then my parents were working in Limpopo,
Okay.
in an area called Mostorulos. They were both headmasters there. And then my grandfather was one of the first headmasters for a school for the blind and deaf in that area.
Wow.
And then they started living in that area, I think, in the late 60s. And then, but their home is in Winterveld. So we would juggle between Northwest. By that time, it was still Buputatswana. We would juggle between Northwest and Limpopo quarterly. When they go to work, we move with them. When it's holidays, we travel back. Yeah. So we
It was
we
a
are
busy one.
Yes, we actually from both areas.
Yes.
Because we know both areas very well.
Yeah.
I am married. I live in Pretoria currently. I am married with 4 kids.
Wow.
One boy, 3 girls, beautiful girls, and one handsome guy.
Oh.
And yes, then I attended school in Limpopo because they were mostly in Limpopo. And then I also went to a boarding school in a place called Hamarishani, a high school called Bupedi Bapedi. And then that's where I started getting exposed to a lot of things because when we grew up, we were mostly just confined to our space. The residence was in the schoolyard. So we were not allowed to go
outside
and play.
So which means you're
My
not going to
friend
be
was
exposed to
just
much.
not much. My friend was my younger brother. That's the only person I knew, except school kids. And then when I moved to Hamarishani, to a boarding school, that's where my eyes opened and I started experiencing things and I started understanding who I was now. Yes, and yeah, in short, that's me.
That is you.
Yeah.
Sure. Very interesting. And thank you for sharing about your family. And it also shows that, you had quite an interesting life. And sometimes even our upbringing, Millicent, informs, our adulthood, our life experiences. So you have gone, through so much and had unique experiences too. Can you take us through that?
When you grow up, you're just an innocent child. You don't know much, you don't understand much. But then when I started growing up, I started recalling the things I could see as a child. Then I realized, no, that was not normal. I will take you back to that, but let me rather start where I started experiencing supernatural things. And then now understanding now this is not normal. When I moved to a boarding school, you meet people from all areas of life, different kind of beliefs, different backgrounds. I attended school when when it was still the time of apartheid, but it was just nearing the end. And then so the boarding school was there, not much orderly. 10 o'clock they close the doors, and then they switch off the lights. And then if you want to study, you study through your candles and everything. Now, I was I loved sport at school. So I was a captain of volleyball. I was also doing karate. I was also running. I was introducing chess to the school. So, and then I was the first and the only youngest prefect of that school. At the age of 13 years, I was already leading the whole high school.
Sure.
Yes.
Well
and
done.
then I would lead people way above my age. I mean, at that time, when I relate to those years, I was doing standard 7, but I was already a chief prefect of the whole school, including your matriculants. So it needed wisdom and
maturity,
tactic to control the elderly. And then, so during the day, I was quite busy because then I had to lead the school and I was also into sport. But then my time was to study at night. Then I started scheduling that I would start studying at 10 because they would switch off the lights at around 9:30, between 9:30 and 10. Then 10:30, then I would sit on my books up until 2 o'clock. And then one day while I was studying, I just needed some break. Then when I started looking outside the window, then I started seeing, no, man, there's people walking just on the knock of the roof, walking there. Then I said, but those people are naked, man. Practically naked. Then I said to this other guy by the name of Asser, I said, come here. Can you see those people there? He said, no, I can't see anything there. I said, no, there's people there.
They're walking.
They are walking, and it was a very cold, extremely cold, windy night. Then I said, no, man, can't you see those people? He said, no. I said, no, they are walking. So those rooms were marked, room 1, room 2. I said, no, they are there by room 7. He said, no, I can't see anything. I said, come here.
Sure.
I did not know when I touched him and said, no, there. Then he said, oh, I can see now.
Only when you touched him.
When I touched him. But at that time, it didn't really click that it was because I touched him. Now he can see.
Huh.
Now, he said, oh, yeah, I can see. I said, but he said to me, but what are they doing there? I said, they are mixing, they were actually practically mixing concoctions. And then they were like throwing them inside that particular room.
Yo.
And then he said, yeah, but then what are we going to do? I said, sit still. Because then once they realize that we can see them, we don't know what might happen. And then we agreed that, no, we are not going to say this to anyone. We actually then immediately watched until that person disappeared. But when he disappeared, he ran like in a lightning speed. 1, 2, he was gone. Then I said to Asser, we're not going to tell anyone because we don't know who was there. It might be one of us here. Because it was clearly a male person there. Then I said, it's just too dangerous. We can't say this to anyone. So you know how the brain works. So because we decided we wanted to shut it out, the brain completely blocked it.
Yes,
It blocked it because then we just didn't want to remember. And then funny enough, a year later, I remember we had a conversation about witchcraft. The brain had completely blocked it to such an extent that I remember engaging with people that there is no witchcraft. And I even won that argument that there is no witchcraft. You can't see naked people. It's just impossible.
Yes, you had forgotten what you had
I
seen.
had completely blocked it.
Yeah.
Then I moved into varsity. I studied in Devon, came back, then went to Vista University. And then because then it was now I could shuttle from home to school. But then when I started studying, I continued with the same pattern, studying at night. During the day, that time I was a bit naughty. During the day, I would go booze with friends. But then I was smart. At night, I would just go into my corner and study.
Yeah.
During the day, we would play, all of us. Yeah. During the night, I studied.
You study.
Yes, that was my principle. But now, my eyes started opening up again. Because now I could see people walking through walls.
Yo.
I could see, man, this person just came from this wall and he just went through that wall. And by that time, I was still in varsity. I had completely forgotten about what I saw at boarding school. Then I started hearing voices now. I could hear when people communicate, but I could not see their faces. I remember I was staying with my aunt. I went to my aunt's room and said, who are you talking to? He said, no one, I'm actually asleep. I said, no, but I can hear people talking here. He said, no, I can't pick up anything.
Is this in the AMs, ne?
Yes, in midnight, when I'm studying during the night now. And then there was a time where I was studying, then this person started calling my name. Like he was whispering. Said, Collins. I kept quiet. Said, Collins again. Then I stood up. I went to my aunt again. Are you calling me? He said, no, I'm not calling you. Said, but you just called me now. I said, no ways. And then I realized, no, something is not right here. And so I was staying in a room outside. Then at night, I would start fighting with people who wanted to choke me. And I would run into the house. And My grandma would come either to Winterfeld or she was in Musturlo. So when she was visiting there, then I said to her, you know what, at night I'm fighting people here. And when I wake up, I would see people running out of my room straight through the walls.
Yeah.
And then my aunt said to me, my
Your grandmother
said to me, you know, you see things that we don't see. And then she related a time when I was still young. She said, but even when you are young, you would say to us, you had people inside our home and we could not hear anything. You were the only one who could see them. And he said to me, this gift, it needs you to protect it. She was a strong Muzalwani. She said, if you don't protect this, you are going to get trouble with witches because you practically can see them. And this is going to give you a lot of problems. But me being young, being a young guy, I'm just continued with my bottle, going, having nice time with my friends, and then eventually, I would like to cut the story short. Then eventually there was a time after I got married. I was with my wife. We went to visit her brother-in-law who lived in Atteridgeville. We had a lot of booze. Slept there, napped there for about maybe 3 hours. Around 2 o'clock at night, we decided to drive back home because then we were in a better state to can drive. I went home. That's when sometimes you start understanding that when they say God doesn't care about your past, it is true. I had also made a lot of mistakes. You know, I was on the streets, we were naughty, trying to make a living, quick cash here and there, you know. So I had quite a shady past that I wanted to forget about. And now we wanted to move on. I'm now married. I wanted to focus. I wanted to get my life right. Now I was focusing on my future now. Now, we went home. I slept. No, man. After I slept, I don't know what really happened. I only recall the time when now I checked the time when I opened my eyes later on. I saw myself getting out of my body. I could practically feel myself being pulled out of the body.
Yo.
And then I saw myself like at the level of a ceiling. And I could see my wife sleeping there. I could see myself sleeping there. I could see a bottle of alcohol and the keys and everything exactly as the room was.
Yeah.
I could see it like that. And then I was suspended for maybe about 5 seconds. Then immediately I moved at split second. Then I found myself somewhere.
So you moved from the bedroom.
From the bedroom.
Yes,
I immediately moved.
A different space completely.
Now I was in a completely different space. Now at the space where I was at, there is no ground.
Oh, okay.
Because where I was, there is no force of gravity. Nothing pulls you down. Nothing pulls you sideways.
So you're floating.
Now I'm just stable. I'm there. And then here came this man. He was very tall. Very tall. In a star white gown. He is not like walking, like making steps. You just move. That's what I've picked up. You just move in that space. You don't really walk. Because you don't need to walk because there's no force of gravity. So he came closer to me and he said to me, "How are you?" I said, "I'm fine." I would like to explain this. Everything that happened there, I was asked 3 times. Not once. Every time when you respond, they ask again. They ask again. For the 3rd time, then that's when they accept your answer. Then he said, "How are you?" I said, "I'm fine." Then he said, "How are you?" I said, "I'm fine." He said, "Are you fine?" I said, "Yes, I'm fine." He said, "I want to talk to you." I said, "Yes, go ahead." Remember, I'm not even aware of where I am at that time. I'm just, the last time I saw myself was when I was going to sleep. This place, I'm not even aware. I'm not consciously aware. So I'm in a different world altogether. And he said, "I want to show you some things. Do you want me to show you?" I said, "Yes." He asked me 3 times again. I said, "Yes." Then he said, "I want to open this gate. Would you want to come in?" 3 times again. I said, "Yes." That gate was beautiful. I would like to confirm that where I was, everything is crisp, clear, clean. If gate is white, it's white. If you see gold, it's the highest refined kind of gold you can ever see. And the voice is not you can clearly hear this person. There is no disturbance. There is nothing that distorts sound or anything. And then that gate was beautiful. It was like swinging open. It was not going sideways or this way. It was swinging open with beautiful handles. And then this person, he's so tall that you can't see the face. Even when he's talking, you think you are looking at him, but you can't explain. You can't even draw him. You can't even explain
There's
how
no
this
facial
person.
expression.
Nothing.
Yeah.
It's a very bizarre kind of facial recognition that you can see. Then all he did is he simply just pointed with his hand like this. And then the gate started swinging, opening like this. And then he said, "Do you want to come in?" 3 times again. I said, "No, sure." Then we went in. The garden, you see synergy. When flowers grow, they're the same level. You don't see what you normally see here on earth.
The imbalance. The
Where another one
vibes,
is
yes.
like this, the other one. No.
Wow.
Everything is clearly balanced. So perfect. They are green.
It's green.
The red, it's so perfect red. You can't get that color combination here on earth. It's so perfect red. There is no smell. I could not pick up any smell. But then I could hear angels singing.
Wow.
I would conclude they are angels because of what I saw. The synergy in the singing, when they sing hallelujah, it is so harmonized, so perfect. There is no one trying to outshine the other. competing, trying to be
Why are you
the
taking me
best.
to church?
We know the challenges at church where this one
Yes.
the synergy is it's so harmonious. They are not too loud, they are not too low, they are at a perfect tone. And then as we went, you could hear these people singing or angels singing, whatever. I can't explain how perfect that was. And then we went into various compartments. You see big screens. I saw huge screens. But then when you look into those screens, you can see the world at a very far, at a very distant place.
Angle, yeah.
Now, it's like there is the world. It's far, but when you look on the screen, you can actually see what's happening down there. And then what I saw on those screens, I saw people. They were not talking. They were like studios. And then we went into one studio. You can see this person is busy controlling. And there's buttons and there's things that he's trying to operate there. And then, but he's just like watching what's happening. One screen, it would be kids playing. You can see there's kids playing. You can see cars driving
On
there.
Earth, yeah.
Yes, and there are various screens. And then you can see an accident actually happening there.
Yo.
And all those things. And then you, like on the right-hand side, then the other rooms, there were like human tissues, human parts. And then those doors, he just quickly like opened, closed them, because I think that's not the part he wanted me to see. And then some of the things I can't relate in human expression. They are very difficult to explain. You can clearly see that they require me to be in spirit to see them.
Yes.
And now when you come back to flesh, I can only see, but I can't explain to you.
Because it doesn't exist on a
Yes.
How do you name it?
There's no proper way
Yes,
for
sure.
it to explain what I'm seeing. Now, we went into this compartment was big. You see, like when you go to the airport, you see where they do radio controls for aeroplanes, where they tell them to land,
Yes,
leave,
yeah.
you know, that control point. I saw something like that now. And then in there were huge screens. Those screens were maybe 2 times what, 3 times what you see on the billboards on the highway.
Sure.
They were that big. And then I saw numbers changing, like what you see at the airport.
Yes.
When they want to tell you another flight
It's
has
delayed.
landed, and as they change, yes, those numbers were changing like that. They were like quickly just changing. And then I looked at those numbers, and then this person pointed at those numbers with a hand again like this. And then one line stopped to change. The others continued changing, but one line just stood still. And he said to me, read those numbers. Then I said, I remember very few, but I remember there was 92 and the rest 92. And then he said, what do you think those numbers are? I said, it looked like an ID number of a person. He said, yes, you're correct. It's an ID number of a person. And then he said, you see all those numbers changing, they are all ID numbers. these are the people I want you to go and help. I called you here to show you this screen. I gave you these people so that you can go and help them. I want you to go and help them. Do you think you can do that? I said, yes. He asked me again 3 times. Then I agreed. He said, I only called you to ask you to go and help my people. I don't want to lie. Clearly, what is it that I'm supposed to help them with? It was not clear to me. It was for me to find out when I came back on earth. Then he said, are you sure you will help them? He asked me 3 times. I said, yes, I will help them. And then he said, because you agree to help them, I'm going to let you go back to earth.
So where do you think you were? And who did you think you spoke to this entire time?
When I listen to other descriptions of heaven, and when I listen to other podcasts, I said, hey, wait a minute. This is the same description.
Yeah.
I said, clearly I saw heaven. And then he said, go back. I'm releasing you. I only realized a year or 2 years later that I had died that day because of the instruction that said, now that you agree, I will allow you to go back.
So you're not going to come back?
I was not going to come back. But remember, I was not aware.
Sure.
The last time I saw I was asleep.
Sleeping, yeah. Actually, in one of the episodes, we had someone who said a statement to say when people die, they're not even aware that they have died.
True. I agree. Because I only learned that a year or 2 years later that no, I had actually died. I actually called my wife and said, I died that day. And she reached. I said, yes, I did.
I actually left
because
you there.
I couldn't see what I saw.
Yeah.
If I was still in my mortal body.
Yes.
And when I recall that statement, I said, I died. And God allowed me to come back.
Yeah.
And then I came back. But now, and then he said, I'm just going to allow you to go back. Then he pointed at the gate again. Those gates opened again. In a split of a second, I could sense the body. And then I could pick up that I'm just moving into the body again.
Oh.
Now suddenly
like
you
the
switch.
feeling is different.
Now, yes.
Yeah. It's so different.
It's like now I can feel the body. I can now. Then I started
You are conscious.
waking up now. Then I said to my wife, wake up. Check time. It was 4:01 when I came back. I said, wake up.
Do you remember what time you left?
I can't.
Yeah.
Because I only remember when we arrived home.
Yes.
But when I woke up, it was 4:01. Then I woke up. Said, what's wrong? I said, I just had one of. It was, when you come back to your senses, it becomes so wonderful what you just experienced that you can't explain
And
it
it's
to
so
the next.
real as well.
Now it becomes real.
It's not like a dream.
Yes.
Maybe just explain that
Different,
it's different to a dream, because some people are like, no, maybe you're just having a dream.
No.
No. Yeah.
I could even see myself going back to the body.
Yo.
I could see myself coming through the roof, and then I saw myself going straight to my body.
Yo.
After going straight to my body, that's when I came to my senses.
Sure.
I just switched.
So that's definitely not a dream.
Definitely it wasn't a dream. Then I said, no, man, this is... Then Remember, I was not even attending church. I said, no, man.
How do you explain this experience?
How? What happened here? And now I said to my wife, let's look for a church. I want a pastor who can explain what just happened to me. And then it was towards December time. Then we went to my wife's place of origin, which is Zanin. Then we were there. Then, I just focused on holidays. But then when it was January, I said to my wife, you know what? Everyone went home. We are going to go back to Gauteng. People went to Sangomas. People went to consult. They are preparing themselves for the new year. Others went for conferences at church, and we did nothing. We were just playing. Can we look for a church around where they can just pray for us before we take a trip back home? Said, sure. Then we asked my mother-in-law, where is the nearest church? They said, sure, no. They directed us to another church. They said there's a prophet there and blah, blah, blah. I did not believe in prophets. I just did not care who they were. And but I was just glad we were going to a church.
Yes, yeah.
We went to that church. So, I'm just sitting there. I saw he was a very young guy, very, very young. I think he was in his early 20s.
Yeah. Wow.
He was busy prophesying there. And, because you don't regard yourself as part of that church, you don't even care what...
As a visitor.
Yeah. I don't even care what he's
Yes.
saying. And they're talking in Tonga, and I was not, conversant in Tonga.
Okay.
So even when they were prophesying, I was not really, really paying attention as such, even though there was a translator. But I just didn't care. He was prophesying to everyone. When he was about to leave, he stopped at me. Then he spoke in Tonga, where do you come from? I did not hear. I was just looking at him. He said, no, I'm just... And then my mother-in-law said, no, they're asking you, where do you come from? Then I said, no, from Pretoria. He said, you are from Pretoria? I said, yes. He said, but there's someone you like visiting in Atteridgeville. Who's this person? Huh? I said, no, it's my brother-in-law. He said he likes drinking, and you were drinking with him. Yes. I said, yeah. He said, but last week and some time back, he started recalling all these things.
Yeah.
And then I said, no, wait a minute. Who's this person now? But I was looking at my mother-in-law. Because I suspected, no.
You must have briefed.
Yeah, but no, this guy was just spot on. And he started relating things that my mother-in-law could not have known them. And then he said, come here. I want you to go and call your brother-in-law. Where is he? He said, he's in Atteridgeville. He said, I want you here next week with him. Huh? Came back here. Took him and said, hey, there's a pastor there. He says he wants to see you. We went back there. Then he prophesied to this brother-in-law. And he said, no, I want to pray for you. He prayed for everyone. When he came to me, he stopped. He touched me, he stopped. He touched me, he stopped. He said, no, I can't pray for you. I said, why? He said, not me. Then he said, do you know so and so in Pretoria? I did not even know. Then he described, no, so and so, the famous prophet. I said, no, I know him. I normally drive past that place, and I hardly go there. He said, go there. Me, I can't pray for you. Maybe he can pray for you. But me, personally, I can't. Then he continued praying for everyone. Then I stayed. I never went there. 3 months later, he called. Did you go there? I said, no, I haven't got a chance. He was laughing. He said, no, it's fine. We went back to Zanin for holidays. I went back to see him. He said to me, did you go to where? I said, you must go. I said, no, I will see when I get a chance. He said, okay. We left. 2 weeks later, on a Sunday, he called me and said, "Where are you?" I said, "No, I'm home." He said, "No, I'm here at church. I just want to greet you. Come." Yeah, just want to. So we dressed casually. We're just going to see this man that we know from Zanin. And then when I went there to greet him, he said, "No, you know what, Phasha, someone from Zanin has heard that I'm around. So he said I must come to pray for his house. Just wait here, I'm coming." And that man disappeared. And he actually went back to Zanin. And I was staying in that church and I didn't know what to do. I'm lost.
Yeah.
But then they started singing around 1 o'clock. But now the songs they sing, I'm familiar with the songs. I know the songs because we had attended another church. So, now I get to know the songs. When they started singing, I was singing with them. And then eventually we left. Then I went home. Then I remember the preaching was entering the gates of heaven with a song and praise, and that was the preaching of the day. Then I listened to that. Then I said, "No, I want to learn more about what's happening here." Taking the story forward, I said, "No, wait a second here. Something just happened here." I started understanding what I saw that day. Then I had another experience now where I left my body again.
You were in church first?
Yes, now I'm attending church.
Yes, yeah.
The second experience, I leave my body again. But this time, we are in a space where it's full of like people. And there's also angels. There's like physical human beings. There's also angels there. And then here comes this lion. Very big lion. And now this lion was like chasing everyone. Human beings.
Okay.
And I joined and I started running with them. Because
like
it's a lion.
Isn't just playing or chasing?
No, it was like, when it approached, people understood it's a lion.
Okay.
So people were like
running
away. Now I joined the people because I understand it's a lion. And I know lions kill.
Yes.
So I ran. But now, as I ran, the lion was faster. And then I could see it was about to catch this particular person. But then it just walks past everyone. And then there is this woman who screamed at me and said, "No, that lion was looking for you. You can see it's not harming everyone. It's looking for you." But then I was still running. I stopped. Then the lion was just closer to me. When the lion came, it just sat next to me.
Yeah.
And it started, then when I started cuddling with the lion was like now my pet. And then everyone said, "But why is that lion not killing you?" Because we understand it's a lion. And then someone said, "No, it's because he's having the spirit of a lion inside him." Then I could see myself again coming back to my body. Then when we are in church and I pray for people and people start like manifesting spirits or whatever that description can be, all of them would recite the same thing. We see a lion. We see a lion.
When you pray for them.
When I pray for them. Now they started seeing a lion. But now I don't see the lion. Remember, I'm just in my physical
and these
form.
are people you have not even told about your experience.
No, they know nothing.
Sure.
But when I touched them, they all said, "We see a lion in you. We see a lion in you." And then I said, no, wait a second. Is this not the lion? Then I said to my wife, is this not the lion that I saw when I was out and this lion came to me, close to me? And then that's when I said, but I still don't. And then I said to my wife, I don't understand what task did God give me, because I'm in churches. I go to this church, I go to this church, but I still don't understand. What is it that God said I must do? And then until I realized that I was a good counselor, I realized that I was saving marriages. I was saving people from committing suicide. I was solving people's issues without me knowing it. Then I recall that, man, I started this thing from high school. At high school, people would come to me for problems. That's how they also chose me to become a chief prefect at a young age. Because it doesn't matter what problem was. If they gave me an issue, I would always give them an answer, give them solutions and this and that. And then when I gave people advices, people would say, but who told you our problems?
So you would supernaturally know.
Because I would go specifically to that particular problem that is bothering them without them telling me.
Wow.
And then I would just give them a solution. Then people started traveling from far. I started getting calls 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. People would call me. And now I started
just to pray for them and give them advice.
Just to say, I'm having a problem. My wife, 1, 2, 3. What do you think I should do? And then when I give them that advice, they would come back and say, thank you for the advice. You just saved my marriage. And this and that. People from different denominations. It didn't matter who that person was. Once they spoke to me, they would get answers. Then I said, no, this is what God was saying. Now, when I moved from church to church, I had a problem. And it's a problem that I have picked up on many. Even if I can relate what I saw to a pastor or to a prophet, they would just look at me. They would not relate to this thing. And then I would quickly, in that particular church, the very first person that would sideline was me. Then I would quickly get bored in that church. I would move to another church. In this church, I would serve. Sometimes I would get frustrated. I would preach, but then you end up not knowing what to do because you get bored until someone came to my house and said to me, look, what you are trying to do, you are wasting your time. Your gift is different. You can't run a church. You can't prophesy to people, you can pray for healing, but you've got a gift that you must be patient with. Be a minister of the word. Do what God said you must do, because he already knew what I saw. He said, you can't cope in a church setting. Go to church, pray with others, but also know who you are. Don't go there and start serving as a protocol. You are not like that. Even if you love it, that's not you. Because I would see things. I remember in my last church, I even went to the person who was a prophet, or in whatever way that can be described. And I said to him, but this is what you are doing. And if you don't stop what you're doing, this church is going to close.
Sure.
He actually said to me, when I was with him, he said, I know you want to talk to me. Can you make time and talk to me? I said, how did he know this? I think maybe God told him, whatever.
Yeah.
Then I went to him. We spoke. He said, what is it that you want to tell me? I said, there's a lot that you are doing wrong. And if you don't stop, your church is going to close. I said, God doesn't close a church unless he has a reason. But in your case, he's going to close it because there are a lot of things that you are doing wrong. And if you don't stop, my hands are clean. I want to help you. I'm giving you a solution. I want us to sit and discuss a solution. But if you don't change, you're gonna get shut down. And as we speak, the church is shut down. The doors are closed.
Yeah.
Because I said to him, come, let's meet. We could not meet. And then I kept on waiting for him because he said, I will tell you when we must meet. I think he never had time for that. Eventually, the doors of the church were closed. And then they had to move, and start worshiping somewhere. Yeah. Then I said to him, I told you. You see now when I went to the Bible, then I realized, Ezekiel 3:16-21. It says, if I make you a gatekeeper, you must reveal what I reveal to you. And then if you reveal and they reject,
they're rejecting him.
If they reject my message, then the punishment that comes to them, I cannot hold you liable. But if I give you a message and you don't deliver it, you become liable. So I said, at least my hands are clean. I did deliver the message. Now I realize that when young churches come up, they would normally invite me. Then I realized, that was the help also. Because when people want to start churches, they would always come to me and say, we want to start a church. Then I would give them the advices, how to structure a church, what leadership to do, when to establish leadership. It's still premature. It's not, please.
So God gives you that wisdom to be able to bring guidance.
It comes automatically.
He's refining now your calling.
Now, it's now that I understand.
Now that you understand.
When he said, go and help, at first I thought, I'm going to pray for people. No, I'm going to have a big church because those, you misinterpret.
I'm so glad for that clarity. Because also when I was listening to the episode, I was like, I also want to know what is your gift, know. But I'm so glad that, and that's important, Sisi, because the most important thing in life is purpose. And once you have not discovered your purpose, it's actually such a painful process because you're born for something, but you just can't put your hands on it. And once that's clear, you begin to walk in the fullness of God because you're actually operating from a supernatural power and you are living a life that you are meant to live. Right, and God gives you and affords you the opportunity to do so through the leading of the Holy Spirit.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, Mr. Phasha, would you then say that your calling is to counsel people, give guidance, give clarity, in that sense, like so that we at least know when the audience come for assistance, what are they coming for assistance for?
Okay, as I have also indicated. When in terms of like leadership structures, I'm good at structuring leadership, management of the church, how to run it, how to run the finances, how to account.
Because you mentioned marriages, which is important.
Yes, I also, in terms of marriages, I also assisted a lot. And then I would touch into spots that like if a couple comes and they talk to me and they deliberately leave out a certain portion.
You can pick it up.
When I counsel, I actually just go to that spot that they don't want me to talk about.
Wow.
And, sometimes it becomes an embarrassment to them because then that is the spot that is the cause of the problem.
Yes.
But then they don't want to talk about it. Maybe it might be embarrassing. Maybe it might be a bit secretive and all those things. But that's how I would assist people, young people, the youth. I would focus on youth. I'm also advising in terms of main challenges. I've been a leader of a men's ministry for a longer period. And I got to understand the challenges. And then I had also counseled in that space. And then it doesn't matter how difficult the problem was. If I don't have the answer today, I would say, yes, I heard you. can we talk next week?
Yes.
And then I would go and pray about it, and
God will give you the
then
direction.
they would say, but the problem is not on X, the problem is on Y. And he's actually telling you about X.
Got
so
you.
Yes, that is the revelation I also got.
Perfect.
Wow.
I love that.
That's
I love
clear.
that. So I'm glad Millicent asked that question because I know you were going to come for us for that. And now we're going to leave all his details in the description box below. Do not email us asking us for his contact details. We write everything in the description box, right? If there's an email address or a contact number, we will include that information right there. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your attentiveness. Thank you for enjoying this episode and for commenting down below and for giving this video a big thumbs up. And I hope this story has really touched you. And if you've had a similar experience, do let us know about that supernatural, unique experience. You can send us an email, centtwinz@gmail.com.
It's always so beautiful to hear the heaven story, right? We hear it over and over again.
Can't get enough of it.
And I think what really just solidifies everything for me is the fact that everybody that has had an encounter, or a special encounter where they visit heaven, it has been so consistent.
Extremely
Everybody has said
consistent.
the same thing.
Yeah.
I think that's why I'm sitting here. I'm like, what? Like, I feel like I've heard this before. So, I think it just establishes that, these experiences are real and true. So really appreciate you, Tate Phasha, for sharing your story.
Thank you so
And we
much.
appreciate you at home for watching. For myself, Millicent.
And myself, Innocent, and Mr. Collins Phasha.
And of course, our team right here on Centtwinz TV. It's goodbye for
Goodbye.
now.